Hi, guys. Welcome to the AMP podcast. This is season 3, episode 4, and we're titling this particular podcast, America's Builder. Justin Humphreys, thanks for joining me around the table. I'm Mark D'Andrea, your doctor of real estate, the founder of AMP. Please don't forget to like, subscribe on all your favorite podcast libraries. Hit that share button. We're going to cut this up into a bunch of reels. Please share it with everybody you know. Justin, you work really hard to put this podcast together. First of all, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
We are joined by 2 very special guests, and it struck me on the way over here that both Dusty and Justin P. have a particular approach to their business, because it's new home sales, that we have incorporated for years and years and years in the real estate side of the business. These are 2 guys that all they care about is educating, being of assistance, bringing facts and information to their potential buying clients. And I could not be prouder to be sitting around the table with them. Why don't you go ahead and introduce them and tell us how you met up with them, and then we'll let them talk about themselves for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Mark said, we have a couple representatives from D.R. Horton here today, America's Builder, D.R. Horton. We've got Justin Phillips. Justin, I think I may have just first seen you on social media, honestly. Very prominent here in Central Ohio at all of the networking events, crushing it. Top 1% new home sales consultant in the country, I think.
You got it. Yep.
Okay. So
That's huge.
That is huge. Great resource. Very public, very visible. Love that. Dusty Riffle with D.R. Horton. Sorry, I blanked on your last name there for a second. Dusty Riffle with D.R. Horton also here today. Dusty and I have been partnering on new build ads and helping clients tour new build homes. And both of these guys work closely with our AMP roster and are a great resource for all your new build resources, questions, all that good stuff. So thank you guys both for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Dusty,
how you guys doing?
We'll start with you, brother.
Yeah, we're doing great. Had a little bit of a long weekend and nothing but smiles. A little bit about myself. I've always been in some type of sales, and that led to leadership that involved coaching, developing. And I joined D.R. Horton back in last February, and I felt like I was able to really just help more people in so many different ways, whether it's agents, clients. If someone trusts in you and getting those keys to their home, that's a huge deal, and happy to be a part of it and happy to be here.
Yeah. How long have you been in the new home sales arena?
Since February of last year. We're about a year and a half.
Okay.
And it's been a journey.
It's fun,
absolutely love it, and learning something new every day, meeting a new person, figure out new processes, and I'm a big believer in teamwork makes the dream work.
Sure.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it. I mean, you've both of you guys have been in to train with the AMP team. Justin did a great training for us last year about prospecting. Dusty, you came in with Kelly Goodman and did a training in office as well that was really well received. And you've been working. Both of you guys have been working with AMP agents, closing new home sales, and so even though last February you started, you feel like a veteran to me.
Be a sponge is what I like.
There you go. That's it.
What I love about Dusty is, like, I'm obviously the very loud, outward, bold-facing big events, but Dusty just will take the time with agents to sit down one-on-one, help them with their business. He takes more of that personal touch.
Yeah, absolutely. I've definitely seen that. Him and I do one-on-ones where we shoot content. We consult with clients together and do a lot of fun stuff, but you do a ton of stuff too, Justin. You're very visible. You just described it perfectly. Very big, bold, out there and in the face of the Central Ohio real estate community. So I don't know that I've ever heard your kind of origin story of how you got to where you are. If you wouldn't mind recapping.
Well, how far are we going back? I was born in a hospital, and
yeah.
What do you mean by origin story? Like,
well, how did you get to this prominent position to be one of the top 1% new home sales consultants for D.R. Horton in the country?
Well, I think the biggest mistake that builder reps will make is they'll go out and try and get with realtors and only talk about D.R. Horton. Come sell a new build. Come bring a client. Come check out our product. And whereas if you kind of watch me, you'll almost never hear me talk about D.R. Horton, at least directly, because I believe if you go out and provide enough value, that and build the relationships that the business will follow.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of taken that framework and applied it at scale to every day I wake up thinking, how can I help as many realtors as possible so that should they happen to have a client that they think of me?
That's awesome.
Top of mind and top of consciousness.
Yeah, the
You got it.
top of mind for sure.
Good luck opening your Facebook and not seeing me.
Yeah, it's daily. I see you a lot.
Very true.
Thank you guys both for that little bit of intro and background on both of you. I'm sure there's stuff that you guys want to talk about as far as D.R. Horton goes today, but one of the questions I had is, what are the benefits? What are the big main benefits? If anybody's watching this, they don't know anything about new construction, they don't know anything about D.R. Horton. What are the big benefits of building with America's Builder?
Let me can I answer your misconception and then you'll tell them the benefits? Because I think one of the biggest things that are missed there is that when people think about new builds, they think I've got to wait for my client to say they're looking for a new build. And the reality is every single home that you show them in a neighborhood is just a used new build.
That's right.
True.
And so all of those homes, all of those neighborhoods, every single one of those houses, unless it was, the farm built in 1950s by grandpa by hand,
Right.
is really just a used new build house.
Mhm.
And so I think one of the most important things you can do is reframe your thinking that if a buyer's going to go buy a ready move-in spec, it's really not that different than an existing home, except for some of those benefits, which I'll let you dive into those. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
It doesn't. I'm not objective at all. I started my career at Dominion Homes. It's now called Pulte. And what these two gentlemen do to assist both agents and potential future homeowners to understand this process is how the agent mentorship platform started. I am loving everything I'm hearing, and they're absolutely right. This is about assistance, collaboration. We encourage all of the agent mentorship platform agents to make friends with 4 or 5 of the local builders. D.R. Horton, M.I. Homes, Pulte, sorry guys, Rockford, other builders, because as agents, we must not turn a blind eye to new builds. It is not its own lane. It is a home. Every home starts out as a new build. So all of our buying clients should be exposed to the new home building process from Jump Street.
Yeah, the new builds got implemented into my buyer consultation, I think 2 years ago. For there was a long time, and I'm in my 8th year, for first 5-6 years, it wasn't something that I touched on in consultations. But over the past 2 years, I added its own specific, explanation slide. And anybody that's out there buying between, if they're looking $275,000 or more, they're going to fit a lot of the criteria for you guys as far as new builds. There's probably going to be a community nearby that's going to fit their needs. And they're going to get a new product at a good interest rate. So it just makes sense to incorporate that into the consultations that we have.
Benefits of building with America's Builder. That's
Number one home builder.
Number one
Excuse
home
you.
builder. I apologize. I need to make a note of that.
Yeah,
You can Google that.
Building with D.R. Horton or bringing your clients to D.R. Horton, I think on the realtor side, I think alone you're putting yourself in a position to gain a business partner, for one, that's going to help you in any way, shape, or form, whether that is just having inventory for your clients, whether that's marketing your brand, whether it is even motivation, holding each other accountable. As far as D.R. Horton, I think that does set us aside is how much we value the real estate agents. And that comes with commission. In Columbus alone last year, we paid over $8 million in agent commissions.
I'm sorry, say that number again.
Over $8 million.
Okay, so wait, locally, that means we paid in the Columbus, Ohio market. Is that what you're talking about? Just in Columbus?
Bingo.
$8 million. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and I
That's
look
awesome.
at it as, why wouldn't you put new builds as part of your business, to be there to have a resolution for your clients? Because in turn, with another benefit is opening up the buying power.
What do you mean?
Buying power. So a big thing I say is, on average, we open up buying power of around $70,000. So simply say you have a buyer that's pre-qualified for $300,000. A lot of times that's going to qualify that buyer for $370,000 with us.
Hmm.
The reason why below market interest rates, covering closing costs. So that buyer is okay, I'm pre-approved for 300,000. They are typically looking at Zillow, the MLS, and they're not even going to see the inventory that we would have. And that is what I think Justin and I both do, is we're screaming that as loud as we possibly can to get that out. And what I see is, like with Justin, even, it's you don't really see it and fully understand it until you're in a buyer consultation that we're running payments back and forth, making it make however which way we can put it to make it make sense. But I can send, text, emails saying buying power, and what I see is until we're in person and I'm really, whether it's writing it down, putting it on the
Yeah,
computer,
showing them the math.
that's when the light bulb goes off.
I think between 300,000 to 600,000, about 1 in every 5 houses out there is a new build.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not looking at new construction and you're setting up those searches for 300, you're missing a fourth to a fifth of the market, depending on how much inventory is out there that month.
Guys, avoid this. In my career, I once showed a buying client 85 houses. I think 12 of them were just perfect, but it's not my home. So they weren't perfect for this particular client. The next day, after I had beat my head against the wall and found out how foolish I was, I took this particular client to a new builder and we were in contract that day. So new builds are critical. These guys have worked very, very hard to provide a public marketing space for real estate agents to plug into. And new builds needs to be a part of it needs to be a niche within your market for sure. We're going to get you guys out of here for this first particular section of the podcast. Our sponsors, Vault Title, Motto Mortgage One, Safe Pro, and D.R. Horton. And we have 2 of their top pros with us here today. We'll see you back here in just a second.
Hey, folks, thanks for watching the AMP podcast. I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Motto Mortgage One. Motto focuses on being not like those big banks and using modern technology-driven tools to simplify the home loan process for buyers. Motto Mortgage works to make your deal close faster, cheaper. So reach out to Motto Mortgage One today, where Kyle and Kelly are more than happy to help you with your home buying process. Thank you to our sponsor, Vault Title. The way they can help you is prior to closing, Vault Title will conduct your title search, coordinate all the aspects of the title services with the appropriate parties. They're going to prepare all your necessary documents, schedule your settlement. During the closing, they're going to be accounting for all your funds, reviewing closing documents, dispersing all the mortgage loan and sale proceeds. And after closing, they're going to satisfy all lender requirements, record your transfer documents, and issue your title insurance policy. Whether you're a buyer or seller or an agent looking for a great title company, reach out to Vault Title today, 614-324-2580, or email them team@vault-title.com.
Welcome back to the AMP podcast. Guys, we appreciate you joining us. I'm Mark D'Andrea, the founder of the Agent Mentorship Platform. I'm joined by Justin Humphreys, Dusty Riffle, and Justin P.
Phillips.
Thank you, Justin Phillips, both from D.R. Horton. Really like to thank our sponsors, Vault Title, Motto Mortgage, Safe Pro, and D.R. Horton. This particular part of the podcast is the AMP Action Plan, sponsored by Motto Mortgage One. Justin, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. These are...
I get real
basically
nervous.
This Justin.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I say Justin P next
There you
time.
go, there you
My
go.
apologies. These are actionable tips that we like to give to our Agent Mentorship Platform team members that help them improve their business, grow their business, market their business. What do you have as an actionable tip for an AMP team member or any real estate agent out there listening on their favorite podcast libraries?
Well, I'm going to talk about it today. It's actually one of your tools that you use, Mark. Right now, we're recording this at the end of May. This is going to air in June, which is perfect timing because my action tip today is called the June Reset. And what that means is we're halfway through the year. It's a great time to pause, take a look at your pipeline, your CRM, your prospecting activities, and just look back and see what's working and what's not. What have you been doing consistently? What are you struggling to do? And just take a breath and kind of reset for this next 6 months, the second half of the year. Is there anything that you want to dial back? Is there anything you want to dial up? Are there things that are working that you can maybe double and have those, bring you more success? So it's a perfect time of the year to just step back, take a look at your business, and make any changes where they need to be, and prepare for a successful second half of 2026.
So that's a stepping stone. What Justin is referring to is all of the agent mentorship platform agents are required to put together a vision sheet at the beginning of the year. We usually do them in the fall of the previous year. And they're simply projecting the number of closings they want to be experiencing and the volume that might bring to them and their family. And so you get to the end of the first quarter, take a look. Definitely the end of June, take a good look at that and reset it. If your goal for the year was 12 closings and it's June 30th and you've got 2 or 3 in, it's time to look at that and make those adjustments that you're talking about. And we coach that every day of the week. You're running a business. We're fond of saying it on the AMP platform. You either drive your business or it drives you, because it's not going to drive itself. So I'm going to jump in here and let Justin Phillips tell us what he might think about anything that an actionable tip that you think an agent, either with Red One or not, that they can take as we approach June to improve their business, Justin.
Well, I like what you said. I think one of my favorite tools, if you've never done this, I strongly encourage it.
I'm making notes.
Is if you run a time study. And so take that, let's say you're doing your June, I would tell you to take 30 days and accurately just put in your calendar what you did. You can even set an alarm if you need to, or look back at the end of the day, but every hour, just put in your calendar what you did. And then now with the tools that are out here, you can actually run that through AI, and it will give you an analysis based on how much you're spending your time, and you can even plug in what results that brought you. And so now you're able to accurately look at where your day is going. And I think that's the single biggest miss. Most people don't know, where does the time go? Where do the hours go?
Right.
And you realize 30% of my time is spent on paperwork. Well, shoot, I can hire one admin, one VA for this, buy back time, and then go produce more revenue. And I think most people just don't realize how much time they're bleeding. And I think seeing it can absolutely change the course of your business.
Let's not forget this, because I'm going to wrap this into the Mindset Matters portion of it fits into that perfectly. That's a great point. Dusty, what about you?
I think what comes to my mind is be vulnerable and be willing to fail in your business. And that's, say, social media, for example. Be willing to try something different to market yourself, get more clients in your funnel. And if it doesn't work, listen to your mentor or a friend or a coach or someone and be willing to pivot. And I think if you're willing to do that, you can go as far as you possibly want to go.
Sure.
Being vulnerable, being coachable. I think that's a huge thing that I talk about often.
We say that on the platform, Justin and I and the other leaders, Malika and Gina and Dana, we talk about confidence and comfort versus fear and anxiety, right? About any situation. So you just referenced this perfectly. Your fear and anxiety about doing something on social media is never going to go away, but your confidence and comfort will grow and tamp that down a bit. So you're telling people, rightfully so, stumble forward, doesn't have to be perfect, get it out there, get your brand out there, get your content out there, and just adjust as you move forward, because that comfort and confidence grows with that. Did I hear that right?
I think you did.
Okay.
He puts it so eloquently.
Oh, sure, I just stumbled through that. Justin, my tip, Justin, and you, consultations. I get a lot of agents that we all have these conversations every day, right? We imbue our world with real estate. You were mentioning before the podcast started, Justin, that you've tracked it, and you're 85 hours a week in real estate. So my point there is, well, what do I do with that 85 hours, and what's a step as I'm talking to people, having conversations online, social media, Bold Trail, networking, geo-farming, open houses? What do I do next? I get that all the time. What you do next is you consult with that person, because we are here to provide expertise and education and facts And the only way to learn about your client more fully is to consult. So put a pattern in place in your business, guys, where all of your conversations about real estate are driving you and your potential buyer or seller towards a consultation. Learn about what it is that their desires and needs and wants are, because it's not about us, it's
Yeah.
about them. So go conversation, consultation. That will lead you to a transaction much quicker, and everybody will be a lot more comfortable. Get to know your peeps.
Yeah, the
I
consultation.
know that sounds silly, but
no, it
it's true.
doesn't. It's perfect. Something that I do with every client helps people feel more comfortable and confident moving forward with the process when they know what to expect. I know from doing consultations with new build leads that you and I work together, a lot of times people are unsure about this or that, and just coming in for that, 20-minute, 25-minute consultation where you run the numbers, we explain the process, they walk out of there feeling
Way better.
comfortable, confident, and ready to buy a new
Convert.
build or right. Justin, what's your consultation process look like? Is it pretty similar to, just sitting down with somebody running the numbers, or is there anything special you do with yours?
I'm very, because of the volume I do, I'm quick.
Okay.
And so like I'm very quickly going to dive in to location, price point, timeline, needs, moves, so that I can like place these 275 homes we have and try and narrow that down to one or two options.
Right.
I think probably the most powerful thing that I do though is that almost every buyer I meet tells me that they want to live in Dublin, Worthington, Westerville, Powell, Lewis Center. They want 4 beds, 2.5 baths, 2,000 square feet, a little bit of land, and a $2,500 payment.
Right.
Perfect.
Anyone ever heard that?
Yeah,
Sure.
A couple
Few
times.
times.
And the reality is, as you and I all know, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so one of the most powerful things I do in my presentations is I'll pull up Zillow
Yeah.
and search with them for all of their needs
Yeah.
and then show them, guys, this isn't out there. So with that being said, based on the fact that you told me you wanted to move because of X,
Yeah.
are we willing to look at a Plain City versus Dublin?
Mm.
Are we willing to go into the townhome to get a home versus that single family? Are you willing to drive a little bit further out, or can we up that budget from where you wanted to be to get you in that dream home area?
As long as they pull up every day and love where they are, buy a home.
Right.
I'm not objective. Buy a home. I'll never forget this. I've told this story before, but I'll keep it short. My wife and I had been married for about 3 years. We were 2 years into our apartment. She comes home one morning from Kroger, and I said, I was going to go out and look at some houses today. And she said, honey, I don't care what we live in, but it's going to be on 5 acres. So unlike your consultation, this was my wife telling me exactly where we were going to live. So I was expecting to live in the city. We opened up that country living, and we've been out there for going on 36 years. So yes, open up people's worlds as long as they get into a home that they love. I love that. Good stuff. Next segment.
Yeah. We're moving right along. Next segment is the Agent Spotlight, sponsored by Vault Title. So we like to, on every episode, we like to shout out a couple AMP agents that are out there just crushing it, and give them some flowers and shine a spotlight on them. I'm going to go ahead.
I have to buy flowers.
No, you
I
don't
was
have to
unaware
buy
of that.
them. These are just proverbial flowers.
Okay, got it. Go ahead.
So
Thank you.
today I'm going to spotlight Farzine Zarandi.
Yeah.
So Farzine is an AMP agent who I see Mark training with in person at the office constantly. I was on the phone with him this morning. Great guy, also an insurance salesman, and has found a great way to, for 25 years, has sold insurance and has found a way to turn that book of business and just streamline it seamlessly into his real estate business as well. So a lot of those clients that he's working with now are clients he's known and worked with for years and years through his insurance business. So wanted to give a shout out to Farzine. Keep up the hard work. We love working with you. Glad to have you on AMP, and keep crushing it.
Well done, Farzine. Appreciate you, brother. Tara Houston, new agent,
Yeah.
Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
life coach in her other life, still does that. We have kind of a process on the agent mentorship platform, right? The agents come to us. They have the MLS on their phone and laptop, Bold Trail on their phone and laptop, Dot Loop on their phone and laptop. Business cards are ordered. they're ready to be coached. Tira is a particularly good example of this. And then I'll say request, because we can't require. These are self-employed people. Tira has done a great job engaging very quickly in the AMP platform. Our request is that we coach them one-on-one for an hour for the first 2 or 3 months after they've joined the agent mentorship platform. We had a great Zoom today. She picks up on things really well. We had a discussion last week about conversations. She, towards the end of our Zoom today, she said, I wanted to make you aware of something. That we talked about last week, I put into play this past week, and I have another potential client. Tira Houston, great work. Thank you for engaging with us. We appreciate you. So shout out to Tira Houston, one of our Kentucky Red One agents.
Absolutely. Justin, Dusty, you guys, I know we work closely with, the AMP team works closely with both of you guys. Anybody you guys want to shout out as far as AMP agents you've worked with or seen out there crushing it?
Yeah, I would I want to say 2 names if that's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Get out.
Yeah, so both of these individuals,
Pushing the envelope, man.
I would say they are, what'd you say?
Pushing the envelope, man.
Of Kelly Goodman and Kelvin Hernandez, and they both relate
Two
in
superstars.
in one specific way, that they are in this industry for their clients. And Kelly, we had 2 deals last year, and now call each other about anything under the sun. And she is I would say, a new build advocate and sponges in and makes sure she knows what each builder is going to offer. And then Kelvin, it was just the way that I could see it, the way he communicated with his clients, that he was truly in it for them to make sure they made the right decision for their family, was incredible. And that goes in my appointments. I always say, hey, right at the beginning, the point of this appointment isn't necessarily to get you to buy a D.R. Horton home. It's to get you into home ownership.
Yes.
Now I'm going to do what I can to prove that D.R. Horton would be the right fit if it is at the end of the day. And that's where the agents, they have that trust of their clients. And Kelly and Kelvin, great work.
Well done, guys. Appreciate you very much.
A couple rock stars there.
They are. We're going to take a quick commercial break for Safe Pro Home Warranty and D.R. Horton. They are the sponsors for our next segment. We'll see you back here real soon.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the AMP podcast. We want to give a quick shout out to one of our great sponsors at Safe Pro Home Warranty. Diana and Clayton have got you covered. If you move into your house within the first year and something goes wrong, like your hot water tank, your air conditioner, or your furnace, they are going to help you cover the cost of that so you don't have to do the whole thing out of pocket. So reach out to Diana and Clayton today to get your coverage set up at Safe Pro Home Warranty. Thanks for watching.
Guys, welcome back to the AMP podcast. I'm Mark D'Andrea. I'm joined by Justin Humphreys, Justin Phillips, and Dusty Riffle, both with D.R. Horton. This particular segment is Ask the Coach, and it's sponsored by Safe Pro Home Warranty. Ethan, I had an off-the-cuff and off-the-subject question for you. You're a younger dude. What is your goal or vision for the time frame within which you would like to be a homeowner?
That is a great question.
Thank you.
My vision for when I want to be a homeowner.
Yeah. How many months? How many years? How old are you?
I'm 24,
24.
newly married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're living in an apartment right now. Would love to be in our own home in the next 1 to 2 years, for sure.
We can make
I've
that
always
happen.
had.
I know some great realtors.
Yeah, we can definitely make that happen.
1 to 2 years. So by the time you're 26.
By the time I'm 26, and then we'd love to have an investment property as well.
And
So-
what does your wife think about that? What's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Annabelle, and she loves the idea of both of those things, and pretty much just said, "You handle it. Just let me pick what it looks like."
There we go.
Well, if you want the investment, are you going to house hack? You thought about buying the first one as the investment, living in it in a year, and then
I'm
moving
working
to the
on
next
that.
one?
I'm working on that with
Excellent.
her, trying to convince her of that. So
The duplex, yeah, that's a great route. That's a great goal too. You want to be a homeowner by the time you're 26. I think today on average, and Dusty, we talked about this the other day. I think in recent studies, the average age for homeownership has hit almost 40 years old.
Just got over 40.
Yeah,
First time home buyer.
that's a little concerning, and everybody at this table is working to combat that and do everything we can to make sure homeownership is an achievable goal for people like yourself, Ethan. So that's a great goal to have.
We need help, but we're on the same team, rowing in the same direction.
That's it.
Justin?
Yes.
Justin, yes. What question has been submitted by an AMP agent of late that you'd like to do a deep dive on?
Yeah, mine's going to be a little bit boring, a little bit repetitive maybe, but dot loop. I want to talk about dot loop because I think in the past week I have had probably 6 or 7 Zoom meetings with agents about dot loop and how to make sure they're executing their paperwork properly.
Mm-hmm.
On the AMP platform, we have a great community on Circle where we have an archive of all of our past training clips, instructional videos. Guys, if you're on the AMP platform, you can access that library at any time and watch 2, 3, 4 hours of dot loop trainings that are there for you at any time. It's never a problem for us to hop on a Zoom with you and make sure you're getting your paperwork executed properly. But please, if you're if you're second guessing yourself or you're unsure of if you've got your wording right or where does the signature spot go, any of that stuff, please, guys, utilize Circle. Go on there, look at our catalog of past training videos, and you'll become an expert in no time. So it's a little bit of a boring one, but
It's not boring.
we deal with it a lot. I
We
know you
engage
do.
with it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, on the agent mentorship platform, we have 18 tools that we train and coach on, and one of them is dot loop. So we certainly want to make sure that the agents are experts in dot loop, the MLS, Bold Trail.
Yeah, and if you're watching this and you're not at Red One or not on AMP, dot loop is our e-signature platform that we use to execute all of our documents electronically with our clients, so that we're not driving back and forth like it's 1972 getting wet signatures on things. I do know some agents that still do that, so no offense to them, but
Not the
Well,
triplicate.
no.
Yeah, you have some folks have issues with technology, so we got to do what we got to do.
Justin, Dusty, I know you guys have to get questions from people on your team, other new build consultants, real estate agents. What are, if you guys could highlight 1 or 2 questions that pop up all the time for you guys, what would that look like? And either of you can go, whoever's got one.
I think maybe more of a concept than a question.
Okay.
But probably the biggest concept that I'm working with agents for is that I'm of the strong belief that lead generation is the name of the game being a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can train to do contracts and documents and show houses and negotiate. I think the hardest part of the job for most people is generating the book of business. And that's the one that actually pays all the bills.
Yes.
Right? There are worse agents out there at process, taking care of their people, all of that out-earn excellent realtors simply because they're better at lead generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think having the fundamentals around time blocking and what does that look like and building out your pillars where you're going to go get your business
Yes.
is probably the single most important thing that I could train or help any agent on.
That's great.
You're talking to the coach that coaches our pillars of prospecting.
Well, you just
section.
said the 2 things that we coach on too. We always try to make sure that our AMP agents have their time blocking first. 'Cause I feel like that's the foundation, right?
Critical.
That's where you're plugging the stuff in. Then the next is, what are your pillars of prospecting? What
Yeah.
are those 3, 4, 5 tools you're going to focus on that are going to bring the business in? And I've mentioned your name a couple times on the AMP podcast. The training you did with AMP last year, even though there was nobody in the room, a lot of people were on there virtually, was profound because you told people, hey, if you're not, you need to be you need to be working on lead gen 10 hours a week.
Minimum.
At a minimum.
Minimum.
Should be 10 hours a week. And then our broker, Mike Hall, shout out to Mike Hall. His big thing is the hour of power, 7 days a week. You need to, there needs to be an hour spent at least dedicated towards filling your pipeline and building your business. So
Yeah.
I always make sure to shout both of you guys out when I talk about that. And I say that to all of our AMP agents as well. And you're 100% right. There's agents that are worse out there at the clerical stuff, but they're better at lead gen and they outperform agents that might be a better agent.
realtor. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Dusty.
And I'll just kind of go off, and this came from you, Justin. The work you do today directly will correlate with 90 days from now.
Yep.
And if 90 days from now, if you're not seeing the success, is because today you're not doing anything. So
You can track it like clockwork.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think, I would almost say a misconception. I have, just with different agents, sometimes and this could have been an experience with a different builder or just a bad experience, that agents will think that it's us versus them. and in turn I always say teamwork makes the dream work, but they may like, well, I'm not even going to be involved to provide that value to my client. I always say I adapt like a chameleon. And every agent has their different way, and I like having a almost like a pregame talk to kind of get an understanding of the client. Any things like, hey, don't go down this path with this client. It's always nice to know that before going in, but it's a teamwork thing that we're doing it together and making sure your client is getting into the home that makes the most sense.
Well, I love that because D.R. Horton has proven itself to be a friend of the realtor. During COVID, I think that there were some situations where there were certain companies out there that maybe devalued the realtor new home builder rep relationship. D.R. Horton's never kind of wavered on that. They've always been advocate for the real estate agent. And we on the AMP team, and it comes from Mark because he started in new build sales, we coach our agents to bring value to the new build process by walking the property at different stages, at the dig of the foundation, at framing, at plumbing, at rough-ins, at all the different steps, being a liaison between themselves and the new build rep, being there to answer questions, help them find that comfort and confidence. So I think that's great, and that's how we train AMP agents on how to play their part in that process. How do you guys feel about that? What do you love to see an agent do in the process of a new build?
Bluntly,
as little as possible. No,
I knew it was coming.
No, I mean, I like you to be as involved as you want. I have agents who will not even come to their first appointment, drop their client off to me, and come pick up their check at closing, and that's just fine with me.
It is not fine with us.
I have other agents who are going to check in every single week, coming by the house, taking photos, doing drop-bys, maybe even a little too much. But either one is fine with me because my process isn't changing with or without a realtor. Even though 100% of my business comes from realtors, my process is the same regardless of how involved or not involved you are.
Real estate agents.
With love.
Yeah. No,
Understood. Real estate agents can bring a tremendous value to new builds. Because the contract is written by the salesperson doesn't mean that we're not heavily involved.
Right.
You're there at the consultation when you're looking at floor plans. You're there at the contract time. You're there at the pre-construction meeting if one takes place. You're there at foundation, rough mechanicals, drywall complete. I'm sorry, I missed framing. Framing, rough mechanicals, drywall complete, trim and cabinets, and then a walkthrough before the superintendent or on-site manager has their final walkthrough with your clients, a walkthrough about a week prior for you and your clients to go through and just take a look at things and make sure their expectations are well set. So and then of course you go to the closing.
That's what a good realtor does, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what
sometimes with
AMP agents do. There you go.
Sometimes with D.R. Horton, we don't even get to do some of those steps because you guys have so much new build, move-in ready inventory. But there are, you guys have people that work with you from building from scratch as well. So
yeah, and I there's agents out there that use that. There's 12 stages with us in construction that use that as their marketing campaign.
Yeah,
and you may see, okay, they're in Circleville, they're in Plain City, then all of a sudden they're in Delaware, and to me, I see it goes, wow, that person is on the go. And I would think clients would also feel the same way.
Yeah. Absolutely. You guys can cross-sell, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Love that.
And one thing for the realtors too is we work for the builder. And so if you come in without an agent, you're working with the seller directly, essentially, and we're paid by the builder. And you guys have a fiduciary to represent that client.
Yes.
Right.
So God forbid there is a problem, and we hope there never is, you would be representing them versus they have no representation otherwise.
Makes perfect sense. I love all of this. How do I get started? I get asked that question a lot. So this particular question has to do with what we've all been talking about the entire podcast, a process, a pattern. Start to develop patterns in your real estate business early. Daily affirmations, task lists daily. I get in trouble for saying this all the time because it's a big thing across the coaching sphere, which we're all a part of here. Discipline is a pattern. And it doesn't take discipline to fall into a pattern. It takes recognition of the pattern. So let yourself off the hook a little bit. Stop telling yourself when you're having that self-talk, I'm not disciplined. I set something up, I don't do it. How about if we just focus on the pattern at the very beginning and a process that you can be comfortable making happen day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. So if I were going to say anything, it would be, look, get a pattern going really quickly.
Well, that's one of the big values of AMP is new agents starting out. What is that pattern? How do I do that? What does it look like? And that's where we come in and help you develop that pattern to be successful. And it doesn't look exactly the same for
it does not
everyone, but
everybody has family, faith, even if it's in yourself, social life, and some people have work outside of real estate. The patterns may all be different, but one exists.
Right.
Recognize it, fall into it, and keep repeating it.
Mike Tyson once said, discipline is doing something you hate, but doing it like you love it.
And what was his other famous one? Everybody has a plan.
Yeah. No, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
That is a really, really good.
How about James Clear? I like this one. You don't rise to your goals, you fail to the level of your systems.
Oh, man.
Love that.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, we want to take one last break. Our last segment is Mindset Matters, sponsored by D.R. Horton. We'll see you right here in just a second.
Thanks for tuning in, and a big shout out to one of our sponsors, D.R. Horton, specifically Justin Phillips and Dusty Riffle with D.R. Horton. Guys, if you're looking for a new build home, D.R. Horton, one of the largest builders in America, has 17 communities across central Ohio. They offer below market interest rates. They offer closing cost incentives. They offer home warranties, and they have many, many move-in ready options. If you need help looking at new build homes today, reach out to D.R. Horton. Justin Phillips and Dusty Riffle are there to help you.
Welcome back to the AMP podcast. That stands for Agent Mentorship Platform. Around the table, Dusty Riffle, Justin Phillips, and Justin Humphreys. I'm Mark D'Andrea, your founder of AMP. This particular section is called Mindset Matters. It's sponsored by D.R. Horton. But Justin, we were talking off camera, and you had a couple of things that you wanted these guys to emphasize as it relates to D.R. Horton.
Yeah, we were talking about the different examples and ways that D.R. Horton partners with realtors and can be a resource for realtors that some realtors might not be aware that there are resources that are out there. The one big one that Dusty brought up off camera was the Home Buyers Club. Dusty, you want to take a minute and just talk about what that is and how it can benefit realtors and their clients?
Yeah, our Home Buyers Club, I think, is one of the best resources that we have. And it turns into a question. A lot of agents, hey, what credit score do they need to qualify? And I'm a big component on, it's not if they can buy a home, it is when. And our system gives a step-by-step process to improve that credit to be able to qualify for that home. I've seen several different clients that just depleted. They might have had a lender that said, hey, sorry, you can't close on this home. And then they're kind of just like, hey, this might be a couple years down the road, but if they, come back to me. And then explaining, just show what is realistic. And I've had it turn around in less than 3 months because it was just small credit changes or paying off a card, and now they're closing the home. And that was powerful.
What's it cost a potential buying client to join the D.R. Horton Home Buyers Club?
$39.95.
$39.95, and that would include helping them fix credit, teaching them and educating them about the process, making sure they're prepared to buy a home. And my understanding is it's any home. It doesn't need to be a D.R. Horton. You'd love that, but it doesn't need to be.
And you're correct. And that helps your life in general.
Absolutely.
And that's managed through your in-house
company.
lending partner, DHI, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We've had the ladies in from DHI. They're outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. So in summary, you've got a buyer that their financials may need a little work. Maybe they got turned down by another lender. They can get enrolled in the Home Buyers Club and have a pattern, a system in place to where they can improve their financials and their credit to achieve that goal of becoming a homeowner.
We can build their credit while we build their house.
There we go. Yeah. That should be the slogan if it's not. Put a trademark on
America's
that.
number one home builder. We can build their credit,
Building your credit while building
their
your house. Love that. And the other thing I want to touch on real quickly is that one of the tools that we coach about on AMP is open houses. Setting up an open house and getting face to face with buyers that are out there active in the communities. And DR Horton, another resource that they have is that we have some opportunities to hold open houses at DR Horton inventory homes, which I've done. Joe Wood does them almost every weekend up in Delaware on our team. Kelly's done, Christian's done. A lot of our AMP agents have taken advantage of that. And you guys are usually at the model right down the street. Sometimes somebody will come in for an open house and say, well, how do I get this process started? Well, let's go down the street and pop in. Justin's in the office, Dusty's there. And it's another great resource, another way that you guys help agents.
Yeah, and I see it with agents that use the resources of doing an open house with us. But in turn, you're going to do that open house. One, you're going to learn more about the product itself. You have an opportunity to do marketing for social media. And if you can stay consistent on that schedule, that every Monday I'm going to do a DR Horton home or whatever day of the week it is, and stay consistent, your sphere is going to see that as well and go, oh my goodness, this person, open house, and stay consistent. And like Mark said earlier, a pattern to use your resources in the best way possible.
Perfect.
I'm going to go into what I would it's not mine. I took it from somebody else, but don't we take a lot of stuff from other people all the time? So I'm going to try to get this right. You share, as a real estate agent, your goals with your significant other, somebody you trust. So they know what your goals are in real estate. And then the question is this. If they followed you around for a week and watched your daily activity, would they believe in your goals? So you share your goals. If you had that same person follow you around for a week and watch you engage in your real estate business, ask yourself this: would they believe in the goals that you shared with them? It's just a behavior kind of thing. Do your actions match up to your stated goals?
Love that.
So there you go.
Yeah, and if the answer is no, then
We got a problem.
we need to do a June reset.
Yeah, we got a problem.
Get
Do
things
a time study.
Do a time. That's
Time study. Get on
that
some
segues
task lists and
perfectly.
contact management. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
make them believe your goals by your daily activities.
I love that. Justin, what about you? Mindset matters. You're one of the top 1% new home sales consultants in the country. You've got to have a couple nuggets in there that can help us out and help our AMP agents.
I've been thinking about this one a lot lately. You guys ever heard the pottery story?
Mm-mm.
So it was a college class. It was a pottery class. I think it was Stanford, but they divided the class into two halves. And for one half the class, they said, you only have to make one perfect pot. If you make one perfect pot by the end of the semester, you'll get an A, you pass the class.
Mm-hmm.
To the other half the class, they said, we just need you to make 1,000 pots. They can be terrible, doesn't matter how they are, you just have to make 1,000 of them. And do you know at the end of that class which side made more of the perfect pots?
The 1,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so rather than sitting there trying to make something perfect, you're actually going to get closer to that perfection just by doing it in repetition.
We call
All
that
right.
done is better than perfect, right?
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you do 1,000, you're going to have more perfect pots within the 1,000. Of course you are.
Right.
It makes sense. Instead of just trying to focus on one perfect, and done is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
That's Mike Hall's big thing. That's a great mindset.
We're big on that. An example of that in AMP is someone wants to perfect their they're working on their newsletter, which you do a great newsletter. I see your newsletter daily and weekly. If they might say, well, Justin, it's not exactly like how I want it to look a little bit better. I want this to be, and I tell them, listen, you can spend the next 3 or 4 months working on this newsletter and never get it out. Or you can just send out this version that you might not be super happy with and continue to work on it over time. And in 3 or 4 months, you will have sent it out 4 times and connected with these people in your database rather than just worrying about it. And there's a million shiny objects in the real estate business that agents can get caught up on like that. So
We call it getting ready to get ready. Well, Dusty, what are you doing? "Oh, I'm getting ready, Mark." "Oh, great. Getting ready for what?" "Just getting ready to be ready." Great. Why don't we just do it? Stumble forward. You said it earlier. Fail forward.
yeah.
So There you go.
Dusty, did you have any mindset tips you wanted to touch on?
I'll say it's a story about, we can save the story because I might butcher it. It's fine.
Okay.
Tell us the story.
So it was
There you go.
it was actually one of your guys' very own, Gina Warner. It was
Yeah.
for the blessings in a backpack, and they had a speaker there, and it spoke to me. He said, he was in a kindergarten class and asked, how many people can draw SpongeBob?
Mm-hmm.
And every single one of those kids raised their hand.
Mm.
And and then the blessing in the backpack event, he asked, who can come up here and draw SpongeBob? No one raised their hands, and the point of that story is their kindergartners do, because no one told them that they can't, and they didn't. And then people, as you grow on, someone says, oh, you can't do that. And I think it's just believe in yourself and take shots.
Yeah.
That, and again, be okay to fail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Power of belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Love that.
try to separate yourselves from people who you surround yourself with who are always telling you can't do that. I mean, come on. You can do anything you set your mind to.
Did you hear that,
Absolutely.
Errol?
Within reason.
It's our manager.
All right. Well, guys, Justin, Phillips, Dusty, Riffle, Mark D'Andrea, it's been a pleasure having you guys on the podcast today. Hopefully we'll get you back again this season. I think we'll schedule another one of these here in the next couple months. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the AMP podcast. It's on all your favorite platforms. Check out the agentmentorshipplatform.com for more information. Big shout out to our sponsors, Motto Mortgage One, Vault Title, Safe Pro Home Warranty, and our guest in the house today, DR Horton. We appreciate you guys viewing our podcast, and we hope you have a great day and a great week.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.